Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webcast, Collaborate 19 Recap. So my name is Brooke Bacon, Marketing Lead with GSI, and I am also very pleased to welcome our main presenter, Tom Gabriel, Senior Solution Consultant with GSI. And now before we get started, I want to give you a chance to review our Safe Harbor Statement. And now for a quick overview of today's meeting, which will last about 60 minutes. First, we would like to take a moment to go over a couple of housekeeping items, as well as provide a brief company overview. Then we will turn it over to Tom to get into our main presentation, which will last about 40 minutes. Then we'll take a minute to go over some upcoming educational events, and then we will wrap up with a 10-minute question and answer session. If you would like to submit a question, you can do so through the questions panel at the bottom of the GoToWebinar console window located on the right side of your screen. Please note that questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. And if you'd like to minimize your GoToWebinar console during the presentation, just click the right-facing arrow key on the top left of the console. Clicking the left arrow key will return the console so that you can input your questions. Now I'd like to give you a brief overview of GSI. GSI is a full-service J.D. Edwards consulting organization. We are an Oracle Platinum partner that was founded in 2004 and now has over 100 employees. And we have offices nationwide and are recognized on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in the U.S. And we specialize in project consulting, managed services, cloud and hosting services, with all of our services backed with a 100% guarantee. We also provide a broad spectrum of business, functional, and technical consulting services for Oracle NetSuite, Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and other enterprise applications. In addition, we are a product development company that has many popular products, including Genius, which is our advanced monitoring and performance analytics solution for J.D. Edwards or any business critical system on any platform. Genesis, which is our load and stress testing application for system design, validation, or expansion for J.D. Edwards or any web-based business critical system. G Shield, which is our comprehensive security solution for J.D. Edwards, including password reset and two-factor authentication. Rapid Reconciler, which allows you to effectively manage your inventory, in-transit, and RNV reconciliation processes for any version of E1 or World. And Rapid Approval, which is our Salesforce App Exchange solution that streamlines the approval request process. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, I'd like to now turn it over to Tom to get into our main presentation.
Don't get carried away there, Brooke. So just let me know if you can see my screen, okay?
I can see it.
Thank you so much, Miss. So I want to welcome everybody to today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. As Brooke said, I'm a senior solution consultant here at GSI, and we're here to talk about Collaborate 2018-2019 that was held in Texas. And as you can see, it was a very nice event, very nice weather, very nice time, a lot of socializing, a lot of getting together with different people, things of that nature. So again, it was on the Riverwalk. We'll talk about where it's going to be next year and what's going to happen. During the event was held primarily at the Conference Center in San Antonio, but there were sessions in the adjacent hotel, the Grand Hyatt. And as I said, there were a lot of extracurricular activities on the Riverwalk itself. You can see that a lot of these sessions were very well attended. While the overall attendance this year was up from last year, my personal opinion and those of some other people were the amount of J.D. Edwards folks were not as high as they have been in previous years. There were a lot more Oracle and a lot more PeopleSoft people in attendance than there were J.D. Edwards. And I'll get into the rationale as to why that may have happened and what we might do as organizations to really get the benefit out of our J.D. Edwards investment and where we should go and what we should do in order to do that. So to that point, there is an organization, there is a conference called InFocus, and InFocus is run by Quest, and it is strictly for J.D. Edwards. And that event is traditionally held in Denver, right where Oracle Development is located, or one of the Oracle Development offices are located. And this event truly is all things just JD Edwards. So when you get your workshops, when you get your sessions, when you talk to individuals from Oracle, you're specifically talking to only those people and digesting only those things truly JD Edwards. Conversely, Collaborate, which is also run by Quest, is a mix of both Edwards, PeopleSoft, and Oracle. As I said, traditionally it was held in Las Vegas. This year it was held in San Antonio, but we will be going back to Las Vegas next year. Now, the upside with Collaborate is if you're a multi-tier, organization utilizing a bunch of different ERP products and things of that nature, then naturally you're going to be able to go out there and understand and look at those other solutions as well. You're also going to be able to talk to vendors that have a solution maybe for PeopleSoft, but not for Edwards, but at least understand what's out there and what you can do. So again, it's a looser mix. And naturally, the last conference you can go to around the Oracle space is Oracle Open World. Now that one is truly just owned and run by Oracle. It's held in San Francisco every year. They take over the downtown section for a week. And while they do talk about all of their product offerings, that conference is more geared toward technologists versus applications and functionality and things of that nature. So when you are considering for your organization what conference you should go to, especially if you're not looking at quote unquote technology per se, but more from a user perspective, functional perspective, I would say InFocus is your biggest bang for the buck, followed by Collaborate. Your C-level CIOs, things of that nature are basically the ones that are going to go to Open World. Now, it's important to understand that Quest runs InFocus as well as Collaborate, and it's important for your organization to be a member. It's not simply to be a member so you can go to the conference at a reduced rate. It's to be a member because Quest also puts out a lot of collateral, a lot of white papers, a lot of case studies. Quest pushes out to the user community a lot of information relative to JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, and Oracle. So you can see they've been around for a long time. They have a strong, customer base, if you will. And again, they're the ones that focus primarily on putting all of these conferences together, as well as what's called a special interest group. And again, for your organization, this is what is important for you if you want to see Oracle put some type of enhancement in the pipeline. So as I said, Quest gives you a lot of opportunity to attend conferences, as well as gives you a lot of online and virtual type of events. Excuse me. Now, again, more granular, Collaborate is a macro level conference that outlines business applications, case studies, things of that nature, where your functional people, your IT decision makers, as far as what we should layer into our organization, those are the people that should attend. It has a lot of professional development and training opportunities, and I'll talk to that in a second. And it is used for the springboard for major Oracle announcements. I'll talk to you about Lyle's session as well as Brian Monahan's session. And as I said, it is across all of their Oracle, PeopleSoft, and Edwards products. NetSuite they handle separately through SuiteWorld. And when you go to Collaborate, you're going to understand the roadmap that Oracle is taking for your product and for the future releases. Not only is it good for you to go to the sessions, and I'll talk about the makeup of those in a second, but it's great networking for you to find other people in similar industries or similar, disciplines within your organization to understand how do they accomplish a task, what do they do. And again, that statement is one of the major themes that Lyle also expanded on this year. So it's not necessarily just a macro level view, but there's also targeted education around certain products and things of that nature, as well as case studies and best practice sessions and real world concepts. So who should go to these? I'm going to say it's any management executive, any functional, technical, pseudo-technical user that wants to be able to stay ahead of what's happening out there in the JD Edwards space. So now we showed up at Collaborate, but what kinds of things can I do? And it's important for organizations to understand that if you feel you are light in some type of discipline or things of that nature, you can attend a pre-conference workshop. These are traditionally held on the day before the conference officially starts. This year it was on Sunday. And you can go to these workshops where they're all-day sessions, 8 hours long, where you are hands-on and you are actually doing and learning things. The other thing that I strongly suggest you do is you attend what's called a SIG meeting, a special interest group meeting. They have them for human resources, they have them for manufacturing, they have them for, different types of industries. But these SIG meetings are a bunch of organizations, people involved in their organizations, sitting around with an Oracle representative who is responsible for that pillar, and you are actually talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of the applications, what's happening, things of that nature. Now, a SIG is different than a roundtable in that a SIG, you actually have that Oracle individual who is taking away things that they need to do, versus a roundtable where it's a bunch of customers and or an Oracle employee sitting around and just chatting about different things that you can do. So you have hands-on labs. The other nice thing is you have what's called either a case study where a session will be put on for a specific problem, and you will hear from a client exactly what they did to alleviate and get over that issue that they had. And then there's naturally just lectures where you learn about things. And last but not least, the exhibitor showcases where you go to find out what vendor, what product you can utilize to augment your overall solution. So a lot of different things to do. You have to pick your agenda and understand what it is you want to see. So this year, Lyle, his opening keynote, he provided us with a message that really went across several different things. And at the same time, Brian Monahan, he gave a session and he augmented Lyle's speech by outlining other things as well. So basically, Lyle and Brian started talking about the JD Edwards journey, where JD Edwards started and where JD Edwards is, and the fact that that journey wasn't one that Oracle took by themselves. It was a journey because of all those other things I was talking about, the SIGs and the customers and entering requests and SARs and all that stuff, working together, how we have evolved JD Edwards to the state of what it is right now. And he went on to say that that journey still has to continue through this digital age and through all these other pervasive digital technologies. Now, as he was talking with his keynote, he was bringing up ideas and he was bringing up statements from his keynotes 3-4 years ago, where Oracle started this whole upgrade in 100 days or less, and then digital transformation, and then citizen developer. So Lyle was reinforcing all of these things that he's been talking to and Oracle's been talking to for the last 4 years. But he said that this journey isn't over, and this journey is just beginning, because he was going to point out for us, and did point out for us, certain other things that are on the horizon now at Oracle that's going to even make Edwards go much further. So he said, we have to look, how did we get to where we are, right? We started with a green screen. We started with people being tethered to the office. We, started with, a lot of function keys and bold areas and things like that. But here we are today, personalizing our grids and using smart devices and things of that nature. And this is only the beginning of what's happening. So he reinforced the fact that the investment that Oracle is making in JD Edwards is not going to stop. And that's a critical statement I just made about JD Edwards is not going to stop. Enterprise One is not going to stop. We're going to see that they are still continuing to invest naturally in the cloud. It's all about the cloud. It's all about removing the dependency on your IT organization to support a system versus supporting the business. It's all about embracing those digital technologies like artificial intelligence and things of that nature. And it's all about the empowerment to the user and giving them the ability to do what they need to do to truly have the investment in JD Edwards be an investment in your overall ERP strategy. He wanted us to understand that if you look at this timeline, and these documents you're going to see going forward are all from December of 2018, so they're no more than 4 months old, okay? What we have to understand is Release 9.2 came out 4 years ago in November of 2015. And from that point in time, we've had several dot releases, and now we're up to 9.2.3, which came out in November of 2018. But what's important to look at this timeline is this. That release 9.2 is going to go out to 2030. And even though they do not plan to have any future code line updates, Lyle stated that if they feel they need to, they may change the code line. But right now, they're looking at 9.2 to be the baseline. If you're on 9.2, you have support till 2030, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And you have the ability to potentially have future code line changes. Now, for those of you on this webinar that are part of the world side of the fence, notice the difference between that and the Enterprise One I just showed you. Even though Release 9.4 came out in 2015, and even though there's dot releases, and we're now on 9.4 dot whatever, okay, dot 1, notice code line changes. Notice all those other things. There's not going to be a radical transformation of the world product. And in 2025, that's when support for 9.4 ends. And you're going to see in a minute when I flip the slide why Lyle also talked about the importance of support. So he pointed out the roadmap. He pointed out where we're going. He reinforced things he's been saying for the last 3-4 years. The other thing he pointed out was, why is support important? And you can see that there's various levels of support, right? Premier, extended, and sustaining. And as an organization, you want to make sure that the software level you're on, that you have support so that you can get tax and legal and regulatory updates. Well, you'll notice that sustaining support for those, that ends unless you're on extended support. So you as an organization need to choose what's important, what's not important. And when it comes to support, for those of you that are off of support, there are now programs within Oracle where they are enticing you to get back on support and or upgrade to 9.2 of Enterprise One. They're making it more enticing for you as an organization to do that. So let's look at the support for the release levels. We said if you're on Enterprise One 9.2, you're going to get Premier support till 2030. There is no extended support, and sustaining support is going to be indefinite because it is a continuous release model that they're giving you. So when you're on 9.2, you could feel comfortable. Conversely, if you look at World, if you're on 9.4, your premier support ends on April of 2022. Your extended support is going to end on April of 2025, and then you'll just be on sustaining support thereafter. So again, even on the latest upgrade of World, you're going to get the benefit of support. Now, we have clients that are on Oracle User Productivity Kits, UPK, and they ask us, well, I heard Oracle decommissioned those. And the answer is yes, they did. However, we still have clients look at them and look at UPK and say, hey, we should buy it to document, to script out, and things of that nature. Because even if we do buy it now, we're still going to get 3 years of support for Oracle. Okay, and come December of 22, we can go on sustaining support. So at least we still have a tool that we can utilize for documentation, for scripting purposes, and things of that nature. Release to release, you can see, again, for you in the audience, if you're on World and you're on these various release levels, you can see that unless you're on release A93, pretty much you're not getting any of those other updates that you would be required to get from a statutory level, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing is, now if you're on an Enterprise 1 release, you can see that as long as you're on release 9.1, you're still going to be able to get extended support through 2020, but in certain technology foundations and things like that, that support has ended. All right. So again, Lyle's theme is the journey. Lyle's theme is that changes are still occurring in the software, but not at a code-based level, and that you should be on the latest releases so you can take advantage of the support. If you want to look at this roadmap, if you want to understand what else Lyle was saying, just write down this document ID number, and you can go to the Oracle site and look up that document to see what does it mean to your organization and what you're doing today. All right. I said earlier that the World side of the fence, when we were there at Collaborate, there's not much going on for World. You can see that 9.4 came out in 2016, as we saw before, and 9.4 has its continuous update model as well. But there have not been the number of enhancements made to World as there have been to Enterprise 1. Naturally, Oracle is looking at Enterprise 1 being a more open architecture and things of that nature, utilizing more of the tools of today, if you will, as the product that they're looking to move forward. So when we look at this, and when Lyle talked to all of the features and functionalities that started to come out, if we start looking way back in 2016 when release 9.2 first started coming out, look at already at that point in time how Oracle was looking at Internet of Things, how they were looking at different ways to help organizations on World migrate to Enterprise 1, how they were looking to implement other statutory regulations that were coming down the pike that people needed to be aware of, how they can turn around and look for people to utilize the cloud and look at the cloud and mobility integration, right? Look again, as I said, about mobility, but more importantly, starting to focus on UX1 and the users. So Oracle back in 2016 started to plant the seeds for all of this orchestration, all of this IoT, all of this cloud, all of this UX1 stuff. In 2017, they continued along those same lines by turning around and still enhancing the UX1 initiative, still giving you statutory regulations, still enhancing the way you can interpret and work with your ERP solution, turning around and saying, let's make Orchestrator now a non-event as far as somebody utilizing Orchestrator as an integration tool by not having them have to license it separately, right? Let's continue to look at user interfaces and how we can make them better. And at the same time, starting to look at some other applications that we can utilize that the industry is clamoring for. And last year, again, look at what they're doing. They're literally concentrating on more orchestrator, integration, user-capable things versus needing IT to do a lot of the work. Real-time orchestrators using chatbots and artificial intelligence. And then what's planned? Their major pillars: modernizing the ERP, modernizing it by how it's really functioning behind the scenes. They're still looking at digital transformation and still looking at the orchestrator and what that can be used for. Being able to run on multi-platform and simplifying the way that organizations might move their ERP applications and data across these platforms. And then they have things in the hopper. So basically the core that they're looking at, again, is still cloud, orchestrator, mobility, digital. They are saying that society is dictating more and more technology within your organization and how your people utilize it. They're saying that we need to get away from that green screen approach. We need to be untethered. We need to be able to use the tools of today, both personally and in the organization. So he strongly suggests that people look to get off of World. And I know a lot of people that are on the World product are on the World product number one because the 400 is such a stable platform. The 400, you can hit it with a truck and it still keep on running. And that's fine. But you can still run Enterprise One on a 400. A lot of other people say, wait a minute, I can't go from World to Enterprise One because my users, it'll just be too big of a change. He pointed out that that's not the case. The World DNA is carried forward into Enterprise One. J.D. Edwards was built on World. It was built on key concepts of processing options, which are the same, versions, which are the same, the fact that you have a GL table that is the same. Function key exits are now just a mouse click or a keyboard click. And your system constants are still your system constants. So the core is still the core. I'm still going to design a chart of accounts and use a general ledger and address book in the same manner. I'm still going to have a business process utilizing the same applications. I still have the ability to configure my own applications and make a quote-unquote customization. And all of this is using one database for my transactions, various localizations, and things like that. So he was saying that if you're on World, there is business justification for looking to move off. Your knowledge within your company is going to be able to move over into Enterprise One. You need to look at Enterprise One because it's a very active product roadmap. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not investing as much in World as they are in Enterprise One. They'll deliver and constantly deliver enhancements. You've seen that from the prior slide, along with all the maintenance and technology. And E1 is going to meet the needs of that changing market, of society. So as society continues to dictate what you as organizations need to do, your ERP vendor is going to understand that and make sure the software does that. So you're going to get a longer runway, you're going to get better support, you're going to get more consumable delivery of applications. You know, on this note, GSI, I'm just going to let you know that GSI, we're going to start again doing workshops for upgrades, be it E1 to 9.2 or be it World migrating to E1, but we're going to start doing workshops throughout the country So look for those, and then you can come to a one-day workshop and talk to us about the pros and the cons and things like that. And the reason I'm suggesting that is because Enterprise One is going to give you a multi-platform, multi-database system, and you don't get that with World. It's going to give you the ability to integrate other tools, be able to go backwards compatible, whereas World's not going to be able to. You have the ability to do Unicode, and you have the ability to use a modern software language versus, RPG, whereas World won't. And you can integrate, as I said, with different middleware, and it's a pure internet architecture. So again, Lyle, Bob, they both pushed this. And they pushed it because they said that it doesn't matter, how much technology is out there in the world. What matters is you as an organization and you as an individual, how are you going to consume that, and how are you going to integrate that into your day-to-day business and day-to-day lives? So again, he was pushing for that. He also brought up this Thrive concept that he talked to, again, 3 years ago. You need to transform your business. You need to, turn around and get out of the same things day in and day out. You need to align yourself to technology, align yourself to your customers and to everybody's needs, and you need to look for new opportunity. You need to focus on your industry, but yet understand you have a value in choice. And more importantly, you have to think and engage the new ideas. Technology is just coming fast and furious. He stated that it's all about you. It's all about the dreams that you might have in your organization, the plans that you may want to implement, the innovations that you're looking for. He needs you to execute. You need to make it happen, because he mentioned that all he's doing is giving you the tools. You need to be able to figure it out, what you need to do and what you need to put into place. The horizon is changing. Technology is changing. It's going to constantly change. Software is going to constantly evolve. You need to be able to put yourself in that mode of moving forward with it. So he had 4 key takeaways at the conference. The first takeaway that he talked to was about mobility. And this was a study that was done back in August of 2015. And back then they said that in 2017, 50% of mobile applications were going to be completely rewritten or replaced by 2017. And then they said by 2018, more than 50% of B2E mobile apps are going to be created by analysts with codeless tools. And by 2020, there's going to be lightweight web and mobile applications that are going to displace all the traditional approaches. And what he pointed out is, as of 2018, that did hold true. As of 2018, there's codeless applications that Oracle has where users can just say, this is what I want, and behind the scenes, everything is being generated. Everything is being created. The other thing he pointed out with the mobile direction is this. Oracle is replacing all of their development within their mobile device or mobile applications. They're going to use the orchestrator now for all of their mobile applications. So that's a big thing, and it's a big thing because what we're saying is Oracle is investing in the orchestrator as their integration tool of choice, okay? So when it comes to mobility, it's all going to be based on the orchestrator. The orchestrator is going to be number 1. And along with the orchestrator is autonomous devices, chatbots, things of that nature. There was a presentation that Lyle gave of a chatbot using Edward, which is the autonomous device now for JD Edwards, where he actually went through and they were able to show how utilizing a smart device and simply texting back and forth to Edward, you could turn around and actually have orchestrations written where it would turn around, process a batch, create new entries and create new things, look up in a calendar and book meetings and things of that nature, all by using Edwards and an orchestrator. And along with all of that, they built in the other UDOs about being able to drive and run a watch list and get results back and push that back. So artificial intelligence, chatbots is another big area that they're looking at. Don't think that it's not here yet. It truly is a reality, and it truly could be done and utilized within the Oracle JD Edwards toolset. Another thing that he talked about was trying to get yourself to think outside the box. A lot of us are looking at simply what's there and what we have and taking for granted the fact of what's on the surface. He said we need to challenge ourselves, and we need to be able to get over that fear so that we can create growth and new possibilities. We need to be able to look at things and say they don't have to be what they seem to be. And the example he gave was this. How many of us remember X number of years ago a new module that Oracle introduced called apparel management? And it was basically driven for the apparel industries so that they could have multidimensional attributes on their SKUs. Well, all of a sudden, because of a SIG, because of a client turning around and challenging Oracle, they said, wait a minute, I'm in the tire business and I have different sizes and different colors and white walls and everything else. Why can't I use apparel management for that? And now it's called attribute management. Another way, or another example, which is sort of funny and not funny, happened really to one of my coworkers at Collaborate. One of our coworkers literally got stuck in an elevator for 1.5 hours on the way to his session. And he missed his session while people were trying to get him out. And hopefully you can hear this, but so Mark was kind enough to shoot us a video to say, hey guys, I'm just stuck in the elevator. And sure enough, 1.5 hours later, when he was able to get out, that was a good thing. But now the reason I'm bringing this up is why? You have a module called Health and Safety Management. But guess what? It can be used for incident reporting. So right now, this hotel can turn around and say, we had an incident where a guest got stuck in the elevator for 1.5 hours. This is what happened. This is everything else that occurred. So simply because you don't have a warehouse or you don't manufacture caustic materials and need health and safety, there could be a way for you to use health and safety in your business. We need to start thinking outside the box. What Lyle wants us to do is leverage the software and its capabilities the way we should leverage and use them. So, in summary, when we went to Collaborate, what did we hear from Lyle? We heard from Lyle that the orchestrator, it's going to be a critical component of the integration. It's going to be a critical component of mobility. It's going to be a critical component of how data moves back and forth within Enterprise One, and more importantly, its effect that it's going to have on digital and mobility. The other theme he talked about is embracing digital technologies and understanding that as an organization, we need to continually move forward. We continually need to thrive. He also mentioned artificial intelligence and chatbots. The fact that now more and more of our work is going to be done outside of the office, outside of dealing with other people, but yet we need the tools and mechanisms to continually provide us with the information and book the information and do what we needed to do. And then think broader, think deeper of the footprint that you have, or looking at other modules that are out there that you might be able to leverage to accomplish a goal in your organization versus what? Making a custom application or making a, having a custom module built for your organization. All right. If you want any of this information or to see anything else, you can go to these sites, Learn JDE, or you can go to the Oracle site and look for the product catalog for release comparison and release details. If you're a Quest member, I suggest you go to the Quest site. You look to download all the pertinent information in white paper and things of that nature. So again, what's happening going forward? If you did not make it to collaborate, or even if you did, I would strongly suggest trying to get to InFocus. InFocus is going to be third week of August. It's going to be in Denver, Colorado. And as I said, it is purely a JD Edwards driven event. It'll have the same type of workshops. It'll have the same SIG meetings and roundtables and things of that nature, but it will be purely just JD Edwards. If you're a technologist, or if you're someone looking to understand at a broader stroke level from Oracle, their architecture, their technology, the direction that the organization is going in, by all means, feel free to go to Open World, and that's going to be in September in San Francisco. And as I mentioned, Collaborate next year is back in Las Vegas. It's back at the Mandalay Bay, and it'll be again the week of April 19th through the 24th. So as I mentioned, the attendance was up this year. However, the JD Edwards representation level, in my opinion, was not as robust as it has been in the past. So take that for what it's worth. And I believe with that, Ms. Brooke, I believe I'm going to toss it back over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Tom. All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Tom. That was great. I just want to cover a few follow-up items, and then we will move into our question and answer section of the webcast. Today's webcast is part of our free ongoing educational webcast series for JD Edwards, and our upcoming webcasts are currently listed on the screen. And to view our most up-to-date schedule, visit getgsi.com/JD Edwards webcasts. And we provide an extensive free educational resources for JD Edwards, including our weekly educational webcasts, our monthly newsletter called the GSI Insider, and our online resource center too, where you can access our on-demand webcasts, white papers, etc. And we also have on-site and virtual workshops like Tom had mentioned earlier. Also, if you'd like to sign up for our weekly email reminders for our upcoming webcasts, our monthly newsletter, or to create an account to access our resource center, go to getgsi.com, go to resources and events on the main page and select JD Edwards, and then you can select the appropriate link on the right-hand side. All right, so Tom, I only see one question here. And that question was just asking if we have this recorded and if it will be available afterwards. And yes, it will be available today, shortly after. You can access it through our Resource Center as well as our YouTube channel.
And the other thing, Brooke, if you don't mind, what I'd like to stress again is Lyle and Bob, when they were speaking, yes, certain enhancements are coming out, certain little enhancements are coming out on Enterprise One and World. But what I'd like to suggest to you is this. You need to get on the latest release of either platform, right? Either World or Enterprise One. You need to get on the latest release in order to benefit from that elongated, support timeline. If in fact you're having a difficult time trying to justify that to your management team, or you're having a hard time trying to justify that internally in your organization, I would request that you just shoot me an email. And GSI will work with you, I'll work with you to help build a business case for your organization as to the benefits of at least getting onto the latest release level. I'm currently involved with at least 3 of them, two of which are world accounts looking to go from an 8 release up to either 9.4 or to migrate to Enterprise 1. And we're working with them to help make that justification. I can only tell you that I've been around JD Edwards since the early 1980s. I started my career on World A2, release A2 of World, and the changes in World versus the changes now in Enterprise 1, which used to be XC and One World and things of that nature, it's night and day. And as much as I did not want to profess moving over, it truly makes sense to do that. So again, reach out to me if you want to make a business case. Look for, as Brooke alluded to, look for our calendar of upcoming workshops regarding upgrades. It doesn't matter if it's upgrade world to world or an upgrade E1 to E1, but look for our upcoming workshops and maybe attend one of those in your area where you'll actually be able to get hands-on. We're going to actually give you access to a lab so you can actually get in there and see what the story is and bring that back to your organization for several weeks and have everybody play. So anyway, that would be my strong recommendation to everybody. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining. Brooke, as always, I want to thank you for letting me speak.
Well, we appreciate it. It's always a pleasure, Tom. Thank you so much. And just as a quick follow-up from today's webcast, we ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit, and you will be receiving an email with a link to our Resource Center on our website where you can access the recording from today's webcast as well as a copy of the presentation. And after today's webcast, we will do the drawing for the $25 Amazon gift card, and anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and we will notify the winner. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can contact Tom or myself, and we will get back to you. And our contact info is currently listed on the screen. Thanks again so much, Tom, for your presentation today and everybody for attending. And we hope that you have a great day.
Thanks, Brooke.
Thanks.